Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Amateur Football YouTube channel. My name is Tabrice. I have a very special guest. This guy is so hard to get hold of, but you know what? He's a busy guy. He's got things coming left, right, and center. Dulwich Hamlet legend, Sanchez Ming. How you doing, sir?
Hello, mate. How are you? I'm okay.
Could you kind of talk about your journey thus far into football?
I think in comparison to even some of our kids that we've got right now, I probably started football quite late, to be honest. I think my first proper game was probably at school. So in year 7, it was probably like a school game. It was probably like my first game of I think it was 11v11 in year 7, secondary school, and a referee and 2 linos. It was like, wow, there's all this stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? Like there's actually offsides and things like that. So that's when my journey started. Very lucky that back then there was like a Sunday League team local to me, and a few of the boys got their manager to come down and watch me play. And then their manager approached me after the game, was like, "Oh, can you play for us on a league team?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Just got to go back to my dad and tell my dad about it. Then told my dad, he was like, "Yeah, no problem." And then went down to them. There was Lewisham Youth at the time. It was in Catford, like Rutlands, I believe, next to Elms. And played for Lewisham Youth for about a season. And we was, as I mentioned, we had a really, really strong school team with like loads of players who were already at academies. Even in year 7, I didn't even know that was even possible, to be honest. When I got there, people were like, "Yeah, I play for Millwall, I play for West Ham, I play for QPR." Like, where are these places? These times I was just like comfortably just playing in my local estate. We were like getting a lot of attention, and we had a cup. We was going to cup finals, left, right, and centre. Their scout was obviously at the ground and come watch the game, and then he approached my school manager, gave him a card, give to me, and said, "Could Sanchez come down and trial at Crystal Palace?" And then I went Crystal Palace from there. Was at Crystal Palace until beginning of YT. They didn't offer me a YT. Funny enough, they didn't offer me one. Not funny enough, they just didn't offer me one. They didn't think I was good. They didn't think I was good enough. And at the time, I must confess, my energy towards football was dying out. It was dying out. Back end of school, secondary school, I was more focused on other things, if I'm being totally honest. So it was probably the right call at the time, and Crystal Palace were right to not offer me anything further. Football was something which I was losing interest in. There's other things that were obviously taking my attention. And then one of my friends was adamant that I had to play football, so he sent me to an Aspire. Sent me to the Aspire Academy in Southwark. He sent me there, and that's when I bumped into 2 gentlemen by the name of Junior Caddy and Gavin Rose. Bumped into these guys. I must have been back end of school, so I was probably about 15 years old, 14, 15. And then they were like, "You can come here, like, yeah, something here for you, but it's got like it's entirely up to you." I think they could see as well that it was like, this guy's, he's all right, but his energy really here. Do you know what I mean? Is his energy really here? So they were like, "You can come, but it's entirely up to you." And then so that summer, I'll never forget it. Like, I didn't even know Caddy that well. I didn't know him. He was just like the manager, innit? It's just manager of his team. And he just rang me. He knew where I lived, obviously, and I lived really close to him, literally really close to him. And he was like, "Come to my house." I was like, "What? All right, okay." Jumped on my bike, push bike, and rode to his house. And he just had this plastic bag, it's like a Sainsbury's bag, full of boots. So I think they were like Adi Pures and like just 1 or 2 pairs of Nike and like a pair of Val Sports. And he was like, "Here, you can have them." I was like, "What?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one had given me anything like that before, to be quite frank. And he was just like, "Yeah, man, you're gonna need them for the summer, innit?" I was like, "What?" I was like, I just didn't get it. It was just way too nice to be quite frank. It was just way too nice. he had me in his house, which for one, I just expected to be outside his front door. And he was like, yeah, you're going to need them for the summer. And I was like, all right. And then probably about 3-4 weeks later, obviously I'd broken up from school, waiting my GCSEs and things like that. He just kept on calling me and saying like, come, we're going football. So at that time, we're talking best part like 12 years ago, no, 15 years ago. Yes, 15 years ago now. At that time, loads of non-league players used to meet up, and like pros, professional lower league pros, and some Premiership players actually, funny enough, used to meet up in like Southwark, Crystal Palace, that kind of area, even Beckenham. And they used to, and they used to play this just keep ball. So just find decent grass around the area and just literally make squares for 2 or 3 squares, and it'd be like 7v7 with a floater. And we literally do that for the whole morning from like 9 to 11 o'clock. There's no running, literally just do that. And it was just all in prep of ticking over. So I got to meet all these like amazing people that had been like, who are now still in my life. Loads of them. I know them, got their numbers. And at the time, I was just this 16-year-old boy, 15, 16-year-old boy, just ratting around with these players, just trying to just playing football, just doing what I thought was normal, getting in their faces, kicking them by accident. They're just like, just trying to just tick over. They've probably been out the night before. They've probably been on this whatever journey the day before that. They've probably come off holiday that night before and all the things like that, and just come down, lace up their boots just to kick a bit of ball. And I was just like, nah, I'm just hungry. I just want to play some football. So all these people were just kept on just saying like, oh, it's this boy, like, do you know what I mean? And I was obviously really gobby back then as well, really aggressive. So yeah, it was mad. And then done like one season of like youth team football, so like what you call like an under 18s at the time. And we was attached to Fisher Athletic. It was attached to Fisher Athletic. So the Aspire Academy was attached to Fisher Athletic, who and the manager was Wayne Burnett. Who's I think now the under 23s manager at Tottenham. So Wayne Burnett, he was the first team manager at Fisher Athletic, who were in the Conference South at the time. And Gaffer says to me and 2 other players to come and train. Go and train with the first team. Okay, great, fantastic. Didn't think much of it anyway. But when I got there was like 2 or 3 of the guys who had been there the previous summer when I was playing football. So they were like, oh, yeah, man, come sit down next to me. Lovely, fantastic. Like, you know, kind of, you know what I mean? I felt way more comfortable. They kind of knew who I was. So the aggressive or like the abrupt or even the rude Sanchez would come out, they kind of would be able to like de-escalate it or even give it a bly when one of the other boys would be like, who's this boy running up his mouth or whatever else, you know what I mean? Because effectively I was like 16 years old with a bunch of 22, 23 to 29, 30-year-old players who were either pros, ex-pros, or aspiring to be pros. And who the hell was I? So yeah, man, it was just like a blessing in disguise that I'd met these people previously. And then Wayne was just like, you can stay. So I didn't go back with the youth team. I stayed with the first team. So I was seeing around a lot of senior football at a decent level. And again, the team was set up in a way, obviously they were full-time. So they trained on a Monday morning, they trained on a Thursday, trained on a Thursday, then trained on Tuesday, trained on a Thursday, then trained on a Friday. So my time was occupied immediately. And obviously we're traveling all around south of National South on a Saturday or Tuesday night. Unfortunately, we got to like the playoff final, lost on penalties. And then the team kind of like fell apart because in non-league, you know, you have a big push potentially for one season with a budget. So, well, people start to go elsewhere. Loads of players went to like different clubs. Loads of players got like professional contracts, Yeovil, Dagenham, Brentford, those kind of places at that time, and the Football League. So then Wayne stayed, but a lot of the team didn't. So I was like, oh gosh, I think that's it now, innit? Do you know what I mean? Probably going to go back to playing youth team football. But I didn't. He asked me to stay on. Offered me like a contract at the time or like a deal at the time. He couldn't offer me a contract because it's non-league and I was obviously under 23. So the thing that people always say to you is don't sign a contract, never sign a contract. If a club comes in for you, it's gonna be hard to get you out, all that kind of stuff. So Fisher offered me a certain amount of money, and at that time it was a lot of money. It's a lot. Just like, what are you doing? This is crazy. I was earning more money there than some of my friends were earning as a YT. And at that time as well, I was living alone. So look at this money, was just like, it was all mine. And I was
You didn't have to share it with no one.
I didn't share with no one. Didn't share with no one. And like, obviously, by that time, I'd met a few players at the club, and obviously, as I said, a local team. So like this guy called Gavin Days, absolute legend. He lived right next to me. He used to come pick me up every morning and take me to training and drop me home. And I'm telling you, I'm coming in the car, like buzzing. The guy would let me change the channel on the music, like repeat the song. He was just so cool, man.
Yeah.
I'll be training. Obviously, we come back from far sometimes or whatever. He would let me sleep in the car. So anyway, he's driving, I'm just sleeping. Yo, wake up! You're outside the house. He's ledge. Gavin Days, never forget him. Proper guy, man. On the pitch, like anyone trouble me, he's in their face. It was just like, yeah, it's proper big brother at the time. It's ledge. And then Fisher went bust, so it just went out, just gone to pot. And then it was like, huh, what are we gonna do now? So obviously I phoned Gavin and Cads. I was like, Cads, like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like Fisher's done, blah blah blah. Wayne's called me. So Wayne calls me, my manager, and says like, oh, you're coming to Grays Athletics. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm coming. But let me just phone Caddy and Gaffer, as in Gavin Rose. I was like, let me phone them. They were like, we don't know if you're going to go. I was like, what do you mean? They were like, yeah, there's no point you going there. They were in the conference prem at the time, but they weren't doing that well, but they had a big budget. They had like a big or whatever in Essexy kind of way. I was like, huh, why? They were like, because you might as well just stay in the league you are in. Everyone knows you. Go and play senior football at 18, 19 years old. There's clubs that I know would take you on now because they've played against you and they really liked what you did against them, because obviously I was playing for Fisher. This is the second season. And just be attached to Grays. So that was the intention. So obviously Wayne was like, what do you mean you're not coming? Then he understood what I said. And he was like, all right, great. So got there, signed all the forms as a Grays player, and then went on loan to Welling. Welling United. Yes, I went on loan to Welling. It's the first time I ever went to Welling. And then I went to Welling. This manager called Andy Ford. Oh, this guy, man. He's like, it was like a proper old school. Didn't take training session. Was there, didn't take training session at all. This guy called Jack. But like on a Saturday or Tuesday night, he was very prep. Pull you to the side. I want you to do this, I want you to do that, blah blah blah. Just go out there and do your thing. Blah 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 blah. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. He was like the guy to me. I was like, yes, Gaffer, no problem, Gaffer, no problem. But then also during the week, I'll be at Grays, because obviously Welling were part-time. I'll go and train at Grays, and I'll be with Wayne. And then Wayne would be like, you're not playing this week. It's a cup game. So I'll be like, huh? I'll be like, yeah, you're registered with us. You're not playing this game. So it was nice to be wanted at the time by like a higher club, but it was a little bit false. But really, I should have just given all my energy and love just to Welling, because that was where I was earning, like, I was applying my trade. Yeah, I was really applying my trade at Welling. Now, Grays were paying me, funny enough, but I was really applying my trade at Welling, but there was no real chance of me playing at Grays, but Grays still wanted to like have that, because I think Wayne believed in me at that time. So yeah, I was just at Welling, smashed out a whole season at Welling, but I think we didn't make the playoffs. And then this is when a little bit of a reality check came in. Like, I didn't get on with the assistant manager. So it was interesting. And then obviously Welling was like, I didn't know what it was going to do the next season, which was fine. And then the assistant manager ends up going to Woking. And then Woking manager, and a few of the players went to Woking. But then the Woking manager rings me and says, we want you to come down. But again, the Woking manager was very similar to the Welling manager. He didn't take training, but he knew that he had a really good coach in Daki, who was going to become the Welling and Woking manager, Woking assistant manager. So the guy phones me, the manager phones me, he's like, yeah, we want you to come down, we play against us, I've seen you at Welling, I know what you can do, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, the boys speak very highly of you, the boys that I've got already from Welling. Come training on Monday, everything will be ready for you. I'm like, okay, great, fantastic, yeah. And then about half an hour later, if that, I mean, if half an hour, I'm being generous, bear in mind, this is like 10 years ago now, 12 years ago now. I get a text, massive reality check. He texts me back, Sanchez, I've made a decision. Unfortunately, we're not going to keep you. We're not going to take you, not going to allow you to come train in. That's when I realized how much like a reference meant, in football. So it's like, oh, okay. right, what do we do now? Tried to find another club in the Conference South. It wasn't really happening, and I ended up, funny enough, as that was happening, Gavin Rose was getting the job at Dulwich. This was the beginning of the Dulwich journey. So Gavin's obviously gone to me like, it's okay, don't worry about it. Come play for us, like in the Ryman South. So I'm thinking like, Ryman South, like what? I just started every game. South. This is gonna be really easy, but I can't really go around. This is how I was generally thinking. I can't really go around and say I play for Dulwich. Dulwich who and what league are they in? And blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm trying to be a professional footballer. This was my aspirations. This is where I thought I was going. I saw a load of my teammates into professional football from this level. I just believed it was going to be the route for me. And that was it. So I went down to the Conference South, down to Ryman South, different setup completely. Tried to play, done really well. I think we got to like a playoff final. Funny enough, I took a penalty in the playoff final game, missed the penalty after taking like 3 or 4 penalties that season and scored them all. We lose. I was like, oh, never mind. I leave there. I go to Bromley. I think I go to Bromley. We go Bromley, play quite well, have a good season, leave there, go to Staines.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. I think I go back to Dulwich for another season, then go to Staines, have a good time at Staines, rupture my ACL at Staines, leave Staines. I spent like 8 months out during the season trying to rehabilitate. Very lucky that I had the connections at Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace allowed me to come in and do some rehab there. I was going back to Dulwich and getting some rehab there. Really lucky that some of these people let me in, because in non-league, if something like that happens to you, even though I was on contract and everything else, by the way, there's nothing anyone can really do. They've got physios, they don't have doctors. It's difficult. It's a massive loophole in non-league football, and or gap, should I say, not even a loophole. So then, rehab already. I think I'm coming back. I'm back. So I knock on Dulwich's door again. I'm like, Gaffer, man, like, can I come back? They're in like the Ryman Prem. He's like, yeah. So I've come in to train. I just want to see what my knees like. Come in to train. Training, it's like March, so they're just about to go into the playoffs. So I'm thinking, like, bro, imagine if Dulwich get promoted back to the Conference South, and then I'm trying to nick a gig here. Let me just train for a little while, hope I can impress. So I'm just training. They're on their prep. They're like on their way to like a playoff final in the Ryman Prem, and they lose. So I'm thinking, unlucky. And then like I get a phone call from Dulwich. He's like, Gaffer. Gaffer calls me. He's like, Sanch, listen, I'm trying to get some of the old boys back in. I just want my players around me. I want to like build a different environment here. Like, I just want people to know what we're about before they even get here, kind of thing, and that you fit that mold. So I was thinking, like, raw. To be honest, like I was trying to nick something, but I didn't even think I was ready. Like I just thought, I'm just gonna come in and then maybe you're gonna register me or during pre-season. But he offered me a deal that day, kind of thing. So I'm thinking, like, raw, this guy, like, maybe I am. I don't have to worry about. So, all that summer before preseason, I was just grafting, trying to just stabilize this knee. And then, obviously, the players are doing the complete opposite. They're chilling. They've just punched out season, innit? So, day 1 preseason, boom, gone. Day 2, boom, gone. First match day, flying. Everyone's like, fuck, like, where's this guy? So like I'm thinking like yeah, and obviously your knee's holding up, nothing to worry about. Obviously I'm really cautious with my knee. I'm telling the physios are like really, they're cautious, like, all right, chill out, blah blah blah, do this, do that. And then I kind of like blew up, I believe. So probably like January, February, I just blew up. I just couldn't maintain. I'd done everything. I just, my body had just like slowed down a little bit. Didn't have no knee reoccurrence. So just my gas was just different. It was just different. Everyone had caught up with my, I don't know, pre-season and my closed season training, and everyone had got match fit with me. So the impact that I was having was just slightly different. But I still had obviously the nous to keep myself going through games and things like that. And obviously we're pushing for playoffs. I think we lose. Yeah, we lose that playoff to Bognor. We lose that playoff final to Bognor. And then the gaffer's like, So everyone's thinking like, raw, that's it. I believe Dulwich have probably lost like 4 finals at this stage. So I'm thinking like, rotted, like, that's it, man. We're done. Do you know what I mean? I can see this team obviously opening up. We had some players that year, by the way. So like I'm thinking, okay, cool, no problem. And then we have like a team meeting about 2 weeks later. Bear in mind, we're just on the way back from Bognor. Coach, quiet. Like no one.
And, you know, and I can imagine that's a long journey as well.
What? Long journey. I'm not even sure if we even like ate properly. Like no one usually when the coach come out and be like, "Bong, like where are we stopping off?" No one's saying a word. It was just like, oh, whatever. Like Dulwich, typical. Get there and not win. So then everyone's just obviously on the phone like, oh, where are you going? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna try and get a trial here. I'm gonna try and do this there. Wow, this guy talking to me. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, right, I'm buzzing. I even played a season. I didn't think my knee was even gonna be alive. The way the coach, the doctors spoke to me after getting my rehab or having the operation was like, Brethren, you just need to just get in the gym and like just make sure you can walk again. Like that was the side it was for me. I knew that I was just in a massive privilege in comparison to the average man to play football again.
Yeah.
Gaffer calls everyone in about a month later, big team meeting, and no one even knows this, but I walk into the private chat. So everyone's lined up, walk into the private chat. And before I even sat down, so in this private chat, it was me, Gaffer, Caddy, and a guy called Tambo at the time, who was like a fitness coach, like a first team assistant coach. And I goes, I ain't leaving. He's not leaving either. And he's like, the Gaffer Caddy bursts out laughing. He's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? I ain't leaving. And neither are my players either. None of my players are leaving. We're gonna win. We're gonna just do it next year. So make sure all these lot out there, don't make sure you didn't send no one home telling them they're not signing, because we're all staying and we're just gonna smash it up next season. And then like Gaffer goes, sit down. So I sat down now, and he's like, listen, you're right. We're gonna keep the majority of this squad. We know what we're gonna add. Blah 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 blah. Like we fell short, but we're gonna give it like basically one more crack. So he said like just keep yourself ticking. I know your knee. Blah 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 blah. I advise you not to slow down too much, but don't go overboard. And I'll see you in July. And we got some players in, and we just went for it, man. And then during that season, I don't know if you know, or don't know if you remember, but got kicked out of our home grounds. I was thinking like, oh, this place, like everything's just against us. What are we gonna do? But
it was on TV. It was on TV. I can remember that was like 5-6 years ago. What actually longer than that?
Yeah. So like imagine my mum, she doesn't even care about football like this. She's like, Sam, you still at it? I'm like, yeah. She's like, everyone at work was speaking like, because she works for like a local council. And like everyone was just speaking about it and blah 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 and blah blah blah. So you got kicked out. So where are you gonna play then? I was like, yeah, mum, we've been shipped down to like Tooting. She's like, oh, that's far. And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay, so what happens now? I said, oh, to be fair, like we've got the maddest fans, mum. Like they just followed us.
They don't care. Like, yeah, they want to travel.
So like we just literally took over a whole new ground.
Yeah.
The pitch was a bit different. Our home grounds are home ground. We believe. Sorry, let me speak for myself. I believe our home ground is really tight and cute and intimate. And like Tottenham, Tooting's like quite open. It's quite open. It's how big. That's how you used to argue and say it's about the same size. But I just said, no, this pitch is bigger. Even the fact that there was like open parts of the ground made the pitch bigger.
Yeah.
So obviously we're playing in these games and we were just turning teams over. I'm like, this club's different, man. These players here, this team I've got here is just different. We're just going to do all right. And then I don't know if it must be during that season. Yeah, it must be the beginning of that season. I have to add this in. This guy takes over Billy Ricky. And I'm like, what do you mean there's a millionaire that's just plunging money into a Ryman Prem club? I'm saying all the players that I'd been playing against in the league above, who were like top hitters who would be in and around the playoffs, have just suddenly walked into this Billy Ricky team. Prem players, people that have played in Champions League finals were just
Jermaine Pennant went there, innit? Yeah.
And like the left back, the ball-deaded guy, he went
Paul Konchesky.
They had Jamie O'Hara. They had like some decent players who I believe were like decent players, even from, but I'm saying from my level, who I'm like, these
Yeah.
are the players that usually you see them somewhere near the top. So I was like, bro, what are we gonna do? Listen, my team is good, really, really good. But it was like local good. This was like all around everyone else.
100%. Yeah,
these guys were traveling in to play for this club. So, we were neck and neck. Whereas the previous year, it was Bognor. But after Bognor, I didn't see no competition for us. But now it was like we just grew a new competition in Billericay. I think that season Billericay won it with like 100 and odd points, and we had come second with like 90 odd points.
Jesus.
And we were just thinking, there's no way we've just done all of this to then go to the playoffs again. And then bottle it. The hottest day of the year. It was a scorching. Like, we have to usually Dulwich is traditional home games. You wear suit and tie, bridging, like driving to the, like hanging up your shirt in the car, because if you put that shirt on, by the time you get out
sweat patches, isn't it?
everywhere, man. So like, get out of the car, you're carrying the shirt in, you're half naked, to the ground, and then everyone's like really nervous. You name the team, blah blah blah, and then it was like, okay, cool, and then it was like 1-1. Listen, we had the goalkeeper, our main goalkeeper got injured, and we got a goalkeeper called Amadou on loan. Yeah, listen, this guy, man, he's come in just like clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. And Preston was bad boy goalkeeper at the time.
Yeah.
Bad boy, like unstoppable, but clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet, like bad boy saves, proper like goal saves. Like, I'm saying, this is a goal, bam, saving it. Goes to the final, my man more or less lets one in. We're like,
what?
No, something's going on. There's something happening in the atmosphere which is saying this cannot be promoted via play. Look at each other like, what? So we're gonna have to win it next year. This is what's happening. 1-0 down. Boom, okay, we score. Gavin Tomlin scores 1-1. We just can't score. I think my brethren Nyron hits the post, hits the crossbar, something mad like that. The goal's not going in. And then it's penalties.
Yeah, penalties. Yeah, I remember that.
Penalties. So it's like, all right, penalties. And I've put my hand up. I'm like, so basically the guy that scored, I don't know what number it is, but the guy that scored, if he misses, I'm next to take the penalty. So when he's going up to kick this ball, obviously if he scores, we win. I'm thinking, just kick the ball in the goal.
I don't want to make that walk.
Because the last penalty for the club, I missed. Do you understand? This is on my mind. No one can't say nothing. Like, this is on my mind. It's at the back of my head. And then, and little did I know, all my family were there. Like, my missus was there. I didn't even know that at the time. Dippo scores, boom, goal.
Crowd goes crazy, man.
Yeah, like they flooded. Listen, like non-league, yeah. So every man and his dog from around the area coming to watch this game, because Dulwich had a big fun anyway. But then all of my friends, school friends, people that were in my area, around my area, knew about Dulwich and knew about local players' affiliation with Dulwich. So they were also there. I'll never forget. Like, some guy picks me up, puts me on his shoulder, and like fans around me. I'm thinking, this is not league, but the place is going crazy. The whole ground, the whole grass is flooded. Like, the grass, like, you can't see grass. Like, it's a little bit even like scary, because I didn't even know who you were, and they were just grabbing.
100%. Yeah,
grabbing strangers. Like, can you give me your shirt? Give me your shirt. I'm like, can I just get to it?
Can I breathe?
Like, whoa. I've experienced that as like, yeah, I know what that feels like. So I can only imagine what it must be like when you've got 10 to 15 to 20,000 fans. Because we probably had about 5,000 or 6,000 there. I don't know, but the capacity wasn't probably spilled over. But yeah, there was a lot of people at the ground just suffocating us. And then we managed to get inside. And like, oh, bro, when we got inside, to be honest with you, yeah, unless I've got this all wrong and it's like a dream, the place was quiet. In the changing room, it was quiet. I don't think anyone really realized what had happened. And then I think the gaffer and the manager come in, and then it just went, everyone was just going mad. It was just like alcohol, or like just every water, everything was just flying around. Everyone was just hugging each other. Like, we've done it. Nothing, no one could change it. Like, no, nothing. They moved our ground. They were chatting rubbish. They were saying the club was gonna fold and all of this. But you know what? No matter what, promoted, and it's like just like one of the it's not even one of the biggest achievement in football for me. Like to create history. Dulwich has never been in the league that they're in now. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. And like cut long story short, that's like my football journey in a nutshell. To be honest, like that was the end. That was the end of it. That I'd done something. I'd achieved something. I always spoke to managers in the past, and they were like, a lot of players just play football. They don't even win anything. There's nothing to it. They just play. They just finish fourth, finish 12th, finish 21st. Don't get relegated. So when we done that, it was like, yeah, tick. As a business owner, I'm a runner, director, whatever you want to call it. I get it. She's probably an unpopular decision or opinion, should I say. I get it. I certainly get it. The kind of figures that I'm hearing that a club can make in terms of 60, 70, 80 million pounds a year to then potentially earning 300 million a year is like an absolute no-brainer. Of course you're going to put your finger in that pie and say your club's a part of that, especially if your other local neighbors in terms of the top 6 or the super clubs within Europe are considering it. You can't be seen to miss out on that from a business perspective. From a footballer's perspective, I would have nothing to do with it, and I think all the players were right to say that. Obviously, from a manager, I'm a part of a team that manage some grassroots teams on a Sunday, and we wouldn't want to play. Well, we prefer playing in the games that have meaning. Do you know what I mean? We play development football, so sometimes we play and it's just development games, and sometimes we play and it's a cup final. It's a cup game, knockout. The atmosphere is different. The parents' atmosphere is different. The players are different. Once the players know what kind of game it is that weekend, you can see it in their chest. The chest is a lot more firmer. The ball gets punched around a bit more. Everyone's emotions are higher. That's what football is about. Do you know what I'm saying? Even from an educational point of view, as a PE teacher, there is a time of the year where we go to school competitions, and sometimes we have school competitions where they're festivals. So it's just for the children to be inclusive and for them to have fun and learn sport and on some kind of a competitive level against other schools. And then there's sometimes when we're playing sports competitions where it's winner takes all. That's what sport is geared towards. It's not for everyone, don't get me wrong, but please believe when you're playing at the highest level, those people play on a phrase of like an iron sharpens iron. That's what I believe would have been the massive uproar from the players' point of view. And in terms of a fan's perspective, I can only say it like this. In short, if Man United are playing Real Madrid in America or in
Malaysia, somewhere else,
Far East in the middle of June, July, or August, whenever pre-season is, me personally, I think I love Man United. I don't care about that game. It's nothing to do with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find the score. If I don't find the score, I don't find the score. Man United playing Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I'm tuned in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know what's going on. I want to see how we're going to match up against the very best within Europe. And I think that's the only way that the fans obviously were looking at this game. Like, what would these games even mean to me? And how can I even justify it to my missus or to my work, to my family, that I've got to travel to X on a Wednesday night to watch the play, bring my 2 kids who are also young supporters of said team, fly back, get back to work. Where are we going with this? Who are we actually appealing this? Who is this game actually for? Or is it for us as the fans who have also stuck by a team, by the way, during a pandemic, bought the jersey still, subscribed to those crazy subscriptions that they were putting in before. Probably didn't have Sky, now got Sky and like a frozen season ticket. So when it does come back, they can go and watch the team again. It's like a massive slap in the face from a perspective, like, yeah, we know you're there, but we don't really care about you.
Yeah.
That's what it was kind of looking like. So it was only ever going to get shut down. I know it will come back. They will just come back with a cuter proposal, with a lot more of a consideration. They just chucked out the big pie to see if it was going to get nibbled. no one was interested in it, so they're just going to pull it back in and then see what they can recreate, and then they will just produce another option, because it's something that, according to the president of Real Madrid, everyone's tied into now.
Yeah,
he's trying to say, like, listen, if you think thing's over, more for you. You know?
yeah.
You just wait. You have to just wait and see. But you're going to get some big players that will just turn around and say, like, no, thank you. Like, especially if the FA, if the UEFA and the FIFA are saying things like, if you play in that, you can't get any more international caps. If you're playing that, you can't. Your team can't play in the season, or you can't play domestic cups. Listen, as you can see on the TV right now, you've got the best team in the country saying that they want to win, I think, 3 out of the 4 trophies. Everyone wants
Liverpool. Like, I've not heard Liverpool say that yet.
You've got City saying they want to win 3 out of the 4 trophies. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can see that the best players in the world, they want to win. They want to competing on every front. They want to hang up their boots and say that I have this times 2, that times 3, that times 4, that times 5. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you saw the boys the other day, the City boys. They were putting up like number 4s, number 6s. Walked away with like six league cups.
Yep.
So I'm saying there was a time when you're obviously a little bit older than me, but when I was growing up, no one even cared about the League Cup like that.
True.
So the fact that these people are putting in their energy to win everything, and then they're going to turn around and say that we're going to play in something which doesn't have any winner. I don't think people at the top have got anyone else to tell them no, or to tell them that this isn't a good idea. Otherwise, that it wouldn't have come out.
Who's a better passer, David Beckham or Kevin De Bruyne?
It's difficult again. I have to obviously I can't just chuck it out there. Like, when I was watching David Beckham play, I still didn't have an understanding of football like I have today.
Yeah.
The way I see Kevin De Bruyne pass the ball now, it would only be Kevin De Bruyne. But when I've seen some old videos and like YouTube clips of David Beckham cross the ball and like an inside right midfield, like an inside right-sided midfielder, and he'd pass the ball across the pitch, and that it's a different gear. It's a different gear. It's a different gear. So off of what I can see today, Kevin De Bruyne is on another level, but that doesn't take anything away from David Beckham. David Beckham was something else. So that guy was something else. Like, he literally. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne is doing what he did in terms of he changed the way people kicked the ball.
David Beckham.
Yeah,
definitely.
Can't discard that. Listen, I remember growing up and watching him like curl the ball. So mum, I need those I need those in AstroTurf. I went to I think it might have been JJB at the time. Mum, I see those, I need those. I got a pair of Adidas accelerators.
Bro.
I went outside. After bearing in mind, I've seen my older cousin with Adidas Predator with like little Lego pieces. So I went outside and I hit the ball with the side of my foot. I didn't know about lacing it yet. It was the side of my foot. So bear in mind, I got pro punting to side of my foot. So just side of my foot, because I saw David Beckham do it.
Yeah.
Arm was out, side of my foot. That was it. I was quick as well, but no. David Beckham kicks the ball like this. This is who you need to be. This is who you need to play like. I believe the kids have something similar, but at that time, the branding and the way he was advertised, kicking the ball with the front of the side of your foot was all that people were trying to do.
Facts.
With social media, there's only so much racism on social media because people know they can get away with it.
Facts.
That gentleman that says what he says to the other player, to the footballer of a certain race, wouldn't say that to his face. They wouldn't, or the average one wouldn't anyway, because there will be repercussions for that, whether it's from the player or whether it's from the public knowing and can actually target that person. They just wouldn't do it. So that would be one of the first ways. The second way is that the government and, say, for instance, the police, I don't know which way it would work, but social media platforms need to be held accountable for it getting through. I saw something that I think it might have been one of the big hitters said something along the lines of that we've cleared 60-70% of some of the things that we think go against racism, go against our accounts and our rules and guidelines. Yeah, but you're not doing 100%. So that then things fall through the gap. But I'm telling you, if there was £100,000 fine, or there was a £4 million fine, just getting you with numbers, you would find that 30% and you would make it 100% quick pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? So once people get hit with that, then boom. The third thing, which I think is the most spoken about and the one that probably has got like a bit of a nose up, is the big hitters coming off of social media. I don't know who he is. It'd probably be someone like Paul Pogba. I'm not a black player, by the way. Paul Pogba, Neymar, Mbappe, these boys, Sterling, Rashford, these men have probably got like 50, 60, 30, 40, 100 million view followers. If they pulled off, social media would know about it. Do you know what I mean? These boys like Virgil van Dijk, these guys, social media would know about it. And if they pulled off with the notion of you need to correct it before we come back, there would be a meeting the next morning in the Twitter or the Instagram headquarters about how we're going to fix this. Tiger Woods, Floyd Mayweather, do you know what I'm saying? Lewis Hamilton. If these boys just pulled out and said, "Oh, same way Henri did," then there'll be a conversation about it. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I just feel that, in a nutshell, there needs to be sanctions for the social media accounts, and in terms of the social media platforms, and there needs to be a much better verification when you do sign up.
You are renowned for like being a fierce competitor, being like a tough like tackler, and you know what, knowing what we would call like the dark arts of football. Do you think like the word of a no nonsense footballer is kind of almost frowned upon now? You know, what's your opinion about that?
The same way socializing has changed, same way that the average player has changed and the type of football has changed. And like, you know, they don't tackle in football no more at the top of the game.
Crazy, isn't it?
No one tackles that football in the top of the game. So that means that the type of footballers have changed. Players don't communicate in the same way. So that means that the type of person that plays football has changed. In my changing room, as I said, when I was 17, you didn't come in at halftime. You'd be surprised as well. But you didn't come in at full time and just straight onto your phone. It didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, listen, I'm going in changing rooms in the game, and the first thing I see is these guys are just like this. I'm just like, I'm not saying I don't know about my phone. Listen, I love my phone. I love it. But that's not how I was brought up in football. So that's how the game's changed, and that's how it filters into the actual football pitch, into the 90 minutes. It's funny you say things like dark arts or even things like that. Remember, I play at the back, so I can't really wind up players like that. It's interesting people even think that of me. Like, I might tackle someone hard. I might even step on someone's foot by accidentally on purpose, but I don't really give it, you know. And if I do, I know I'm even more on edge, because when you play at the back, it takes one moment for that guy to score against me, or his team to score against me, or that guy to beat me.
Yeah.
I've got to be on it for 94. So I'm on him, especially if it's a one-on-one duel or like guys. I'm on to him, but I'm very wary that at the slip of a button, a slip of a beat, he's gonna be like, got ya. He didn't even play well, by the way. He didn't play well. Kick the ball in. Back post, he's kicked it in. In. Got me. Yeah. And he will go home and tell everyone that he played really well because he scored.
Facts. It's true.
And I'll be like, I had him for the whole game.
Yeah.
At one moment. So when I get into these duels or these players, sometimes I know, because obviously some of my friends are also in the changing room and they're speaking like these things, and they're like, we can get in his head or we can wind him up, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, these guys don't realize that I'm competitive, but I'm not trying to give it too much, because I know what you're going to achieve by getting one over me. So when sometimes I'm playing in games, man, people are like, they run past me, they'll bump me with their shoulder. I'm like, I had no intention of doing this today. I just wanted just to play. Remember, I'm at we get the ball down, so I'm also like, I ain't got no intention of this. I tell you, as I said, remember, I just played last 5 or 6 years in playoff finals, so my teams usually win.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is that? But then, just get one, or I'll be taking a throw in, and then the manager will be like, something. I'll be like, huh? What is this? So there's clearly have a reputation, and I'm okay with it. I'm trust me. It doesn't. I don't really sleep on it. I'm well known for being extremely emotional, passionate, whatever we want to say.
Honest.
Over honest, heavily critical, all of those kind of words about myself and my teammates. And sometimes it's like, you don't really need to do that. Whereas when I was growing up, maybe one reason why I survived in non-leagues, because I'll come in and he could be 26, 27 years old. Hey, listen, what was that? What was that? And not because I'm bad or because I think anything else, but because we've got a standard. Whereas now, you kind of got to like let people have their moment, maybe text them on Sunday morning, come about it from a different angle, talk to them again on Monday morning at training, show them a video about what we're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the message can just get missed if you don't allow people time to breathe. Whereas when I was growing up, we didn't really need that. It was just like get a message to that person ASAP and we move on. So that also comes with time, by the way. I didn't learn that straight away, and I still make that mistake to this day. Today I would make that same mistake about how to deliver my message to even my personal life, because people are changing and football has definitely changed. I've got some friends and some like associates where I can be really blunt and honest with, but the general people around, I have to be very careful how I transmit my messages, because my tone, my energy, my body language could just look like a completely different conversation, a completely different sentence.
Have you kind of got any, pieces of advice, tips for kind of any young footballers looking to kind of improve their game to the next level?
Find a why. Find your why. Find your why if you're going to play football. Like, some players play football to get their parents out of a hole. Some players play football because they love football. Some players play football because they're going to be the person that's going to take them to another. Do you know what I'm saying? And things like that. Like, find your why. So that's going to be the reason why you're going to get out of your bed. That's going to be the reason why you're going to stay behind training. That's going to be the reason why you're going to do something in off season. That's the reason why you're going to do extra in pre-season. If you can find that and stick somewhere near that for the long term, it will put you in good stead when people start having their opinions of you. I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. I believe that's me saying it in the shortest way possible, is just like, find your reason to play football. Because a lot of young boys and girls now, they play football because they think that maybe their parents want them to, or that's the thing that they're meant to do as young people. Like, this country is obviously heavily football-y loved, so football loving. So people sometimes play football and they don't actually realize what they're getting themselves into, because football, from the playground to the park to the professional game to the senior professional game, it's like this universe is apart. And some people have been professionals, like friends of mine, and they're like, it's not for me. Like, playing professional football isn't for me. Playing senior football isn't for me. Playing competitive football actually isn't for me. But I love the game. So catch me at goals on a Thursday night. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm actually good. Like, I knew a player, man, like when I was growing up. This guy had like the best left foot in the world. Like, I've never seen a guy like left foot like this. This guy used to breeze past players, get himself out of, like, it wasn't even that quick either, get himself out of like these tight areas. But I'll be honest, looking back at him now, like, I don't know if football was really for him. Like, he might just turn around and say to me, like, what do you know? You don't even know me like that. You just played with me on a Saturday or whatever. And then maybe something was happening in his life. But I'm just saying, in terms of the makeup that it takes to get through even whatever was going on in his life, I just think that is a certain type of person that has something in them to play football at what is deemed to be a professional level. whether that's League Two, League One, Championship, or the elite in the Prem, and obviously Europe. You need to find your why and stick to that, because we all go through something, and everyone's something is there something, and some people can manage to get over there something and still progress, and some people can't get over there something, and then they end up falling out of the game or falling out of love with the game.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man, and
thank you.
And and it's been an eye opener for like me, and again, I just kind of wish you all of the best. Please like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys real soon.
All of that. Take care. Thank you very much.